Good evening and welcome to yet another exciting episode of The Game Plan. I'm still feeling the after effects of yesterday's wonderful conversation with Winfo Kobna and his threats of performing against my Liberty professionals. Not going to happen, but I enjoyed the conversation anyhow. Welcome once again to The Game Plan. As usual, you're watching us live on Facebook, but we are also on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we are everywhere. So just go out, look for us, and get your questions and comments coming in. And also you can watch the highlights. For those of you who miss out on the show, you can watch the highlights on Twitter and Facebook as well. Okay, lots to discuss today. Asamoah Gyan is on the agenda. What am I going to be saying? Just tune in. Steve Polack, as predicted, confirmed. I'll be discussing what his to-do list is, what his to-do list should be for Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko, and also the big question, I feel that we need a new goalkeeper for the Black Stars. What do you think? I have a couple of candidates that I will share with you during the course of the show. So it's a packed show. Stay tuned. Don't run away. Keep watching. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Let me start with the Black Stars. Okay, now I've come up with this theory that we need a new goalkeeper, right? I don't know whether you agree with me or not, but I feel we need a new goalkeeper. If I consider the history of the Black Stars, the goalkeeping position has been one where we've never really struggled. Magic Hands Duankra, Robert Mensah, John Baker, Joseph Carr, Salif Wansan, Abubakar Damba. Whose name did I leave out? Edward Ansan, Richard Kingston. Okay, these were the huge ones. Then you have Razak Brahima, Kwarasi, Fatah Dauda. You know, and they've done their bits, I understand. But we've always been undone by moments that you feel a better goalkeeper would have handled. And that's why I think that, you know, in the light of these things, we need a new goalkeeper, somebody steady. You know, Razak Brahima, I must admit, has done his bit, but I will discuss that later. I just want to talk about who I feel should be the candidates. Okay, everybody has names. I have a couple. I have 6. Okay, 6 names to discuss as to who I feel. Any of these 6 can be Black Stars goalkeeper, I think. Any of these 6. But I'll tell you the pros and cons of each one. Okay. So first on my list, of course, Felix Annan, Kumasi Asante Kotoko goalkeeper. He's a modern goalkeeper. He's what we call a modern goalkeeper. Distributes brilliantly, good with his feet, fantastic reflexes. He suffers from the odd bout of overconfidence, as you've seen recently, and makes the odd mistakes. Especially international level, that can cost you, because there's so much quality, anything can happen at any time. So you need a goalkeeper who can keep focus for 90 minutes. Aside that, I think that he's also quite short for an international class goalkeeper. Now, somebody might say, yeah, but height doesn't play football. I tell you, maybe in Ghana football, yeah, club football, but at international level, height does play a role. And teams will target your goalkeeper if they feel that he's not tall enough. At set pieces, they will try all kinds of things to make use of that advantage. So you need a goalkeeper of decent height, and for me that is the one huge disadvantage for Felix Annan. So that is the case for Felix Annan. From Felix Annan, I'll talk about Daniel Ajay. Remember Daniel Ajay? Damba, they call him. Now great things were expected of Daniel Ajay, right? After the 2009 World Cup, he did well. But I think he was affected by the longevity of Richard Kingston. The fact that Kingston was not going anywhere. 2010, he went to the World Cup as a backup goalkeeper. After that, you know, he made poor career choices. And that's where sometimes players also need to learn lessons, because it affects the plan for you. His decision to go to South Africa and join Free State Stars cost him crucial development time. And because he did not get enough games during that period, he was left out of the national team picture. Now, he's also a modern goalkeeper. Daniel Ajay is perhaps the best distributor of the ball in Ghana when it comes to goal kicks. Nobody kicks the ball better than Daniel Ajay with both feet. He has very, very good command of his technical area, good reflexes as well. Reasonably, you know, he's reasonably tall. He's not that tall, but he's reasonably tall. You know, but he also has his elements. You know, once in a while he goes off. So I think Daniel Ajay, and even more importantly, he's playing games. He's in Tanzania now, playing for one of the biggest teams in Tanzania, Simba. Simba and Yanga are the biggest teams in Tanzania. He's playing for Simba, has been on a good run recently. So Daniel Ajay is the second name. Third one is a name that is the presumptive first choice, basically, at this moment, Richard Ofori, goalkeeper of Wild Stars. Now, he's a goalkeeper. He looks like a goalkeeper. 6'3", imposing in goal, reflexes of a cat. His distribution, though, is not that good. His distribution is not of the same quality as J and Felix Annan. And the big problem I've had with Richard Ofori this season, though, is he's been intent on getting himself a contract outside of Ghana, so he hasn't focused on playing in the league. And he's been picking and choosing games that he should play. He played against Liberty, he was man of the match. Played against Kumasi Asante Kotoko, was man of the match. And has played one other game. I don't readily recall who he played against, but he's played 3 league games, Richard Ofori. Now, for somebody who is expecting to make a case to be Ghana Black Stars goalkeeper, it is not the kind of form you want to be in when the national team is called. So if in the next month or in the next few days we expect a Black Star squad to be called, Richard Ofori will be called on the back of what, playing 3 games out of 15. Would that be fair? I don't think so. But in terms of seniority, in terms of who is readily available, Richard Ofori, he was with the team at the last AFCON, kept goal in the 3rd and 4th place game and did reasonably well. So Richard Ofori is another name I think should be considered for the search for the new Black Stars goalkeeper. Razak Abalora, goalkeeper of Wafa, young guy. He has no lack of belief in himself. In fact, when he's playing, he thinks he's the only person on the pitch. He's a fantastic exponent of the sweeper keeper that Manuel Neuer has made famous. Also very good with his feet, of course, because he plays for an academy that likes to play from the back. So he's very good with distribution, reflexes to die for. But also, I think his biggest problem is his confidence. He feels he likes to overrate balls and tends to overdo things sometimes. And it results in errors. I've seen him do that a couple of times. And it results in preventable goals, avoidable goals. So perhaps because he's young, he has that on the side. But aside that, he has fantastic potential and could stand up anytime that he is called upon. Then there is Joseph Addo. Now, Joseph Addo is interesting for me. He's the goalkeeper of Ediana. Now, in 2007, Joseph Addo was the goalkeeper of the Black Starlets. They were 3rd at the World Cup. Then in 2009, he was back up to Daniel J during the World Cup in Egypt. He was number 2. After that, went to Pando Heart of Lions. He was with Sekendi Hazakes, went to Pando Heart of Lions, joined Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and now with Ediana. He is calmness personified. Like, if he's like water that has been put in a glass. He's very calm, he's tall. He doesn't make too much of a fuss in goal. He's the kind of goalkeeper who normally you would not see diving, because he's such a fantastic organizer of the defense in front of him. And I think he's perhaps, for me, he's my favorite, actually. That's why I'm spending quite a bit of time. I think Joseph Addo perhaps could fit the bill. He's not the most popular, but watch him carefully. I think that he's perhaps the most tactically and technically aware of the goalkeepers that I am listing at the moment. So Joseph Addo makes the list. And the last one is Razak Brahma. Why did I add Razak Brahma? You are upset. Yeah, I know. But he's played 2 AFCONs, and his record at the 2 AFCONs he has played, fantastic. Played in a final, missed out via penalty shootout. What really wasn't his fault. Maybe he should have saved one, but really his fault. Played in the semi-final of another. That one was his fault, because instead of focusing on games, he was on Facebook insulting people. That's why everybody's upset. Now he's playing in Spain. Well, he's in Spain, but definitely not playing, And his style is not pleasant to the eye. For those who watch him, they say, oh, this guy's not a good goalkeeper, but his record speaks differently. But maybe we need a different option to him. The odd lapses in concentration are too many. He's always bound to give away a goal. That's the thing with Razak Brahma, always bound to give away a goal. And seems to be quite hot-tempered from what we saw at the last AFCON. Has apologized to Ghanaians, but still people are upset with him. So these are my 6 candidates for who should be considered as Black Stars goalkeeper. I definitely feel that it's a problem position and we need to solve it. I am not in favor of this whole rotation business. Today is Fatal Dauda, tomorrow is Kwarase, the following day it is Razak Brahima. Let us get a goalkeeper we can keep for the next 4 or 5 years, 6, 7 years, and know that we will get consistent high quality from. And I feel that amongst these 6 goalkeepers, we can easily get that. So, who is your choice to be Black Stars goalkeeper? You can easily comment in our comment section and tell us who is your favorite. Now, you're watching the game plan, and I'm moving on to my next topic. Asamoah Gyan scored in the Champions League yesterday. Now, it was good because they were down 3-0 from the first leg of the Champions League. They won 4-0 in the reverse leg to qualify. He scored a goal. But that's not what I'm even talking about. There's been some cryptic tweets, and they seem to lend credence to the fact that perhaps Asamoah Gyan might be leaving Ahli at the end of the season. Now, he signed a 2-year contract. It hasn't ended. The first year just ending. But I've listened to a couple of interviews where he stated that he has options available to him, and at the end of the season, he'll be considering those options. So perhaps we could be looking at a return of Asamoah Gyan to Europe. He's now 31 years old. I'm sure he feels like he has made enough money to come back and try his luck in Europe. A lot of teams I know will be interested in him. Last time, huge offer from Turkey came in that I was privy to. He decided to stay in the Gulf. Perhaps he's had enough of the Gulf and wants to move back to Europe. Who knows? But Asamoah Gyan perhaps could sign for a new contract with a new club and not finish that Ahli contract. So we'll be keeping an eye on that particular situation. Also in the news is this kid I've been talking about, Kingsley Sarfo. This is the 3rd time I'm mentioning him. Yeah, he scored that great goal the other time. And last time we spoke about how perhaps Manchester City was watching or not watching. He's been named Player of the Month in Sweden. So Fifi Anaman, shame on you for saying that he's not all that. He's Player of the Month in Sweden. Yeah, so congratulations to Kingsley Sarfo. And finally, my little update, Thomas Partey, apparently wanted by Valencia. This season has not been really good for Partey. We all know this. Last year, he was fantastic. Played a lot of games. This season, he's been more restricted as Diego Simeone has kept, faith with his squad. He comes in 75th minute, 78th minute. He played at right back the last time I saw him because of injuries to their first choice right backs, Juan Fran. So Partey, apparently Valencia are looking for an enforcer in midfield, and they feel that Thomas Partey is the man who could fix all their problems for him. I'll be very happy to see that move happen. So because Partey needs time to develop and he needs games for that development to happen. Now, Elvis Manu is not a name that might be too familiar, but this guy was supposed to be the striking savior of Ghana 2 years ago. He was in every newspaper report, every website report. Born in Holland, final academy guy, scored a bunch of goals and ended a move to Brighton and Hove Albion. But things have not worked out since he went to England. This same Brighton that has qualified for the EPL, he will not be playing for them, trust me. They sent him on loan back to Holland, and he was supposed to be playing for Go Ahead Eagles. This is what he did. On the morning that Go Ahead Eagles, who are engaged in a huge relegation battle in the Eredivisie, were supposed to be preparing for a game, he was tweeting about Feyenoord winning the league. And his team did not take kindly to it, so they have sacked him. So Elvis Manu has been sacked by his club, Go Ahead Eagles. In a statement that the club released, they said that they found his conduct unprofessional and they did not need his services anymore for the rest of the season. So they've cut him, and perhaps he needs to look at himself. And the footballers, social media, it's not for all of you. You need to think sometimes. It's not every time that you're supposed to be tweeting or sending a video of yours, posting a video of yourself on Instagram and whatnot. Sometimes you need to be conscious about these things. So it has cost Elvis Manu his job, and fair warning to all other footballers. Okay, 2 more issues to discuss. Majeed Waris, also scorer of 9 goals for FC Lorient, might not also sign a new contract. What is it with these Ghanaians and not signing new contracts? But I can understand Waris though. Lorient might be going to the French Ligue 2, and he does not see himself playing in the 2nd division. So, and I have a feeling a couple of clubs are interested in Waris. Scorer of 9 goals, created quite a few as well, fights, works hard. I'm sure a lot of decent teams in the French league will spend 4 or 5 million and get Majeed Waris. So he will not be too worried if he's not signing the contract. Okay, to my major issue today, Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now, they confirmed Steve Polack, and from what I heard, as soon as he arrived in Kumasi, the former Brekum Chelsea technical director, convened an emergency meeting with the technical staff to find out exactly what the problem was and how it could be resolved. I think it's a good thing to do. He needed to hit the ground running, so he's done that. But what is on the to-do list of Steve Polack? What should he do in order to get Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko working and thinking again? First one he must do. First one. Players' confidence. I think that the confidence of Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko players is short at the moment, and he needs to work on it. However he's going to do it is up to him, but he must get the confidence up. Second one, find a workable system. Now, Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko have a lot of players, but they simply have not had a manager who has known how to use them or where to use them. Yakubu Mohammed is a penalty box striker. Now, if you are buying Yakubu, it means you are buying a certain kind of midfielder. Do they have that? If you have him, it means you must have a certain kind of winger. If you have a certain kind of winger, you must have a certain kind of defender. Now, these are the hard things that Steve Polack must do with this Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko team if it's to get them back on track. They are not lying very well in the league. Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko are 10th on the league log at the moment, and they need to earn some points very, very fast. Now, good for him. After Sunday, he has about a month to work on the team to answer these questions I'm putting out to him. Best positions of the team and confidence. Now, if he's able to do this, he has enough quality to claw back their way. I don't know if the league title will be too far gone, but they can claw their way into a decent finish at the end of the season, which might be a win for him. Now, from what I'm hearing, he's gotten a 2-year contract. Let's see what Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko will do with this one. But hey, the fans as well, this for you. Be patient with the guy. Don't expect instant results. He's no messiah. He's no magician. I think that for once, Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko fans, give a coach a chance to work something and stop ruining good things when they are happening to you. They are expecting sexy football. They are expecting whatnot. Look, all you need at the moment are results. Once players are confident enough in the system, sexy football will automatically come. You don't look for sexy football and leave the results. Okay? So, back Steve Polack, and then I'm sure he'll deliver. Now, final one before I leave the game plan. Final one. Rugby. Good news there. Now, I was telling you the other day how Ghana beat Benin and Togo. Well, those two victories have done something for us. Ghana has now attained World Rugby status. Ghana has attained World Rugby status. Now, before those two games, we were not part of the main World Rugby body. We were in the sub-zone. But with those two matches, we've become the 18th African country to be accepted into the proper rugby organization. It does not mean that Ghana will be playing England or New Zealand anytime soon. That is 10 to 15 years away. What it means is that Ghana will be able to compete at a proper international level. It will take time for us to compete in A matches, but we can compete at least in B matches at the moment. So it's a step in the right direction. Congratulations to Mr. Herbert Mensah. I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in that. That is how I'll end the show this evening. It's been good coming your way. Tomorrow, Thursday, I have a surprise for you. So don't miss the game plan. 9 p.m. Pulse Ghana Facebook. Good night.